This podcast is rated ES for extremely silly and may contain bad words, bad jokes, and other bad content that is not suitable for children. Or maybe it is. We don't know. We're not their parents. You're listening to the Starforge podcast with Scya and Mal, two nerds who have a lot to say about Star Wars: The Old Republic and all its features. Rest assured, the podcast is working as intended. This is episode 8. OMG, news! So, Scya, we recorded episode 7 on a beautiful, balmy Tuesday night last week, and I believe the news segment was about 45 seconds long, and you said you were hoping news was coming soon because the due date for this baby is holidays 2021, and Scya, what happened?
We got a visit from ourselves from the future.
Did I not just say in episode 7 that this was not Doctor Who, The Old Republic? God damn it. And what did we tell ourselves?
We told ourselves, well, there was news. Big news. Lots of news about 7.0. And our present selves are going to tell you all about it. But first, a quick look at some group content.
Disappointing other people. No time! This week on You Can't Make This Sith Up.
Still no time.
Flying solo. What don't you understand about this? You heard?
No. Stop. Call this all off. This is incredibly silly and I won't stand for it another minute. We need to move on to our special report, Mal.
It's a special report. This is a Starforge podcast special report. All right. So, as we just told you all, mere hours after we finished editing our last podcast, Swtorista and BioWare, whoever, dropped a fuck ton of news on the laps of unwitting players. And unfortunately, because of scheduling and time constraints, there wasn't shit Mal could do about it to edit it into the podcast we had just made, so here's a special report for this week. So,
although it's awkward for our podcast, it was great for everyone else because we really got a huge amount of news to share with you guys.
So, here for you all right now, Scya and I are going to tell you about some of the new things that are coming in the 7.0 patch. Now, Scya, here's one that is near and dear to both of our hearts and probably to the hearts of many, many people. Added to the PTS, unfinished, but added new hair. What is exciting about this new hair is the type of hair it is. We are getting, in 7.0, cornrows, bantu knots, dreadlocks, loose, and dreadlocks in a bun. Finally. And it looks good.
They're not entirely finished on the test server, but it's clear they're in development. I've seen a couple of people asking, okay, is there going to be stuff for like Twi'lek? Is there going to be stuff for Togruta added on? Maybe. We'll see in 7.0. I'm just super excited to see these types of hairstyles, really intricate, good-looking ones that should look great when they're finished, being added to the game.
Definitely the hair that people deserve. I'm excited for it. The next thing that they kind of showed some pictures of is a new UI. I mean, of all the things they're adding in 7.0, I can't tell you what I care less about than a new UI, but okay. It's coming.
Okay, Mal, do you know how happy I am about this new UI? I have mentioned before that when I try to open my abilities, it crashes the game because I've collected every mount on my character. This new UI is flipping fast. There is absolutely no delay when I open up my abilities panel, and I've tested it out on the PTS. It's not all finished, but it seems to be really zippy, and I think that's the main reason that they updated it.
That's awesome. You could just unbind your abilities, though. The keybind.
Well, yeah, I need to open it sometimes. I gotta find my missing ability when I throw it off my bars.
Sounds like a you problem, Scya. You find problems. You find things. I heard you found something.
I found something.
I saw your Twitter. I saw it. You were like, hey, guys, come over here. And you're wearing a big trench coat. It was very confusing. You're like, come on, look what I have. What did you have?
I opened my trench coat and I said, do you want to buy some Manaan? While I was checking out the public test server within the first hour that it went up, one of my fellow fans of the game said, hey, you should check and see if you can fly to Manaan. And we've been doing this every time the test server goes up. Nothing usually happens. But this time there was a new flight point on Manaan. We were able to fly to the new Manaan zone. It was really crazy. We actually got a preview of what it might look like. It's not optimized, but it's this dark, gritty, beautiful Manaan. And if you want to learn a little more about this, another player named Averia, you can find an interview with Charles Boyd between her and the lead creative director in the game about this dark and gritty Manaan. And I got to see it in person. And I left after testing for about 20 minutes, and they had disabled the flight point. They literally kicked us out of the ability to get to Manaan. So I'm super excited about being able to see that. Definitely wasn't supposed to be there. If you want to see it too, I've got some footage up on my channel. Sneaky, sneaky.
Scya getting in trouble.
I was so scared. I thought they were going to like mail me and be like, don't post that footage. But I never heard anything from them, so I think I'm in the clear.
Go. They know they fucked up and left that travel point open. Damn.
Apart from the actual test server itself, we got some actual news posts, things that we couldn't necessarily test, but we heard are coming down the pipeline. So what's the first one that they talked about, Mal?
They talked about daily and weekly mission resets. So currently, uncompleted daily and weekly missions sit in that character's log until the mission is completed. Once the mission is completed, that character can no longer pick up the weekly again for that week or the daily for that day. So Mal has her PvP weekly that's been on Mal for probably 3 months now, never completed. In 7.0, uncompleted daily and weekly missions will be removed from players once the daily or weekly reset time passes, which is currently Tuesday, 12 a.m. UTC. And they said the primary reason for this change is that they're restructuring the way we present content each week. Weekly missions will rotate in availability each week in 7.0, and they want to ensure that all players are on the same weekly missions each week in order to keep those mission areas feeling dynamic and filled with other people to group or share mission credit with.
That's a very wordy explanation for saying, hey, Galactic Seasons groupings seem to help the game feel more alive.
Yeah. Sucks to be me and Vaz, though, who will go, ugh, too many people here.
Let me out of here.
See ya.
I'm sad about it because I'm very slow for lots of types of content. Like if I have an Oricon weekly, it'll take me like you said, a few months sitting in my quest log to finish it, and I really don't mind that. I always appreciated that I was allowed to take my time, but I understand what they're doing because we really did see a nice boost in player activity and content and grouping up during Galactic Seasons where they funneled that content, funnel players into those specific types of content. So I'm imagining maybe there will be like a weekly of the week, and everyone wants to go do IOCath, and you'll have an easier time finding players to group up with.
No one wants to do IOCath.
I really don't.
No one ever.
Maybe I will if there's 20 other people there, or maybe I'll just go die in a corner. I'm not sure.
Or you could just follow them around and, profit off what they're doing because of the next topic of change here.
So the next thing they brought up in the same post is something called shared tagging. If you've played other games, you may have known it as tapping as well. So here's what they said. For 7.0, we are changing this default behavior to be tied to the faction instead when it comes to tagging enemies out in the open world. So if a player is attacking an NPC and another player of the same faction helps kill the NPC, whether grouped up or not, both players will share mission credit and loot on that NPC. In some cases, we will allow credit to be shared with any player regardless of faction. The first content that will take advantage of this open tagging will be world bosses. This should minimize griefing opportunities and really encourage players to help each other out in order to defeat these bosses. As an added bonus, we've also updated the rules for tagging to include healers. In addition to dealing damage to an NPC in order to tag it for credit, healing another player who has damaged that NPC will also grant credit. I'm so excited, Mal. Me and a friend were on the test server. We actually tested this. We went to the black hole, the daily area. We were not in a group, but we had the same quest. We both killed enemies, not in a group together, and we both got credit, and we both got the mission loot. And then we tested it where she healed me. She didn't even attack the enemy, and we were not in a group, and it still functioned. I am so excited. This seems to actually be working as expected.
I think it's a really nice change, especially for a lot of the heroics and the daily quests where everybody is waiting to kill one guy and the spawn like that one guy on the
Hello,
black hole. What's
CZ-198.
his name? Quick hands squirrel? Well, his hands might be quick, but his respawn is surely not quick. That shit takes like 5 minutes to respawn to kill him.
I haven't gone looking for that guy since way back in the day. The one I have problems with lately is the big robot in CZ-198.
Oh, that respawns in like, I think it's 45 seconds to a minute.
Are you kidding? I don't got that kind of patience. But yes, I'm excited about that, and I'm excited about that Coruscant area where everyone's always fighting over the enemies to get a key pass, and I'm excited about less griefing possibilities when it comes to world bosses too.
Yeah, definitely, because it doesn't matter. Anyone can help anyone.
Right, pew pew.
You're all helping now. The game is forcing you to no longer be an asshole since you couldn't do it yourselves. Somebody was wondering, somebody in a guild I run with on Monday nights, they put together an ancient threat run. And that, as you know, Saya, takes a lot of prep to put together. Okay,
Oh
so
yeah, so much.
they were wondering, the group leader was wondering if in 7.0, if you go to all that effort to put the group together and some person just walks up to the area and throws out some heals, will they also receive decorations, etc., from the ancient threat having done no work at all?
According to the idea of this post, yes.
I get that why that might kind of blow. That kind of sucks.
I'd like to see how it happens in action because I run world bosses on a fairly regular basis, and even the ones out in the open world, it's only ever once in a blue moon we have someone wander by. And to be honest, when I'm running those types of large group bosses, if I do see someone nearby, I usually invite them because I'm like, hey, come get a love tap in here. I know Ancient Threat usually want to get together a group of 24, and if you're doing it really efficiently, usually try and get a second group of 24 to try and help you, and then you continue working together to cycle through both groups. So I can't imagine, as long as you're willing to actually invite that person, like, why wouldn't it? It doesn't hurt you for them to get some credit as well.
Because they already had a full group of 24. It's the effort. It's the idea that you put in, X amount of effort to pull this and somebody else can just roll up. And because loot is communal, if they get one hit on it, they might loot. And
Ask literally every member of your team, though, except for the person who went and got all the stupid talismans and stuff like that. The rest of your group is probably just standing there trying to cleanse and have a frame drop anyway.
I was just bringing it up because somebody else brought it up.
So angry. But yeah, it's definitely gonna happen.
I'm not angry, but it was a question that somebody brought up because I can see how that would be annoying. And really, you can still kind of grief if you want to, even though it's shared tagging, you can still sit back and like taunt it every which way. And you can still grief on Monolith too by killing those.
For sure. That's probably not gonna stop.
Killing those little ads, so. People think griefing is dead, but here are Mal's tips.
It's not.
Being terrible. Don't be like me.
Well, sounds like more of those world bosses will be going down, and that's not the only thing that's going down or staying down. We got some changes coming up to Stealth Res. How they work in Mal?
Wow, this was a big one for people. Currently, Vanish allows players to circumvent certain game mechanics, especially ones that require a target. It also allows for players to revive out of combat and change their ability discipline in the middle of an encounter. Vanish abilities are being slightly redesigned to remove unintended use, specifically dropping from combat and reviving in specified situations. For all flashpoints and operations, Vanish abilities will instantly drop all threat and allow players to enter stealth at max level. However, players will no longer exit combat. This restriction does not apply to the open world PvE, PvP, or war zones. Now, apparently, they understand the benefit of rezzing more frequently in group content, so they're removing the operation-wide lockout timer from combat rezzing. As a balance measure, they've made it so only healing disciplines have access to combat revives. They'll be monitoring this and will adjust the cooldown as needed.
Ooh, I know you're really cranky about this. So I actually tested it out on the test server, not on purpose. I just die a lot, you know. We had our 2 healers in our group. I was a tank. We had a bunch of DPS, and I died. And I was revived by the first healer, and then I died a few seconds later, and I was actually revived by the second healer seconds later, and I was so confused because it was like, aren't they supposed to stay dead for a while? So that has been changed for sure. It's actually functioning on the test server, but once you got those 2 revives, you're done for a while. You're gonna have to wait. However many healers you have is how many revives you have until the timer wears out for them.
First of all, I don't know why you think I'm cranky about everything.
You cranky? Okay, I'm cranky about most things.
This hurts me. You cut me to the quick. God.
So how are you feeling about these changes then?
It's been in the game for so long. So seriously, I'll be pouring one out for Dirty Res because it's just been a part of life and raiding for so long. But honestly, sometimes, especially in these last few patches, it's so tricky to pull off sometimes. And sometimes it doesn't.
Right, it doesn't work.
You have to.
And it's like this wasted effort.
Sometimes, yeah, and it's a pain because you have to make sure, oh God, we're stealth resing. Don't do any AoE heals, don't do any buffs, don't do your roaming men mal, don't do your TK Blitz heal mal. It's always my fault when the stealth res doesn't happen. But you get 2 guaranteed reses off your healers. I mean, I feel like that's enough. Right now, my res cooldown is 5 minutes, maybe a little less than 5 minutes. So let's say you're doing Nightmare Styrac, that's about 16 to 17-minute fight. So that's about 6 reses in the whole fight.
That's quite a bit.
If you need it.
That's a decent amount.
I mean, honestly, if you need that many, you need to look at your strategy. Something is really wrong there. But I think having 2 guaranteed reses from the healers is fine. I mean, sometimes it's nice for a DPS to res. Maybe they're closer. Maybe they're standing in a better spot because when you res, they res where you were standing when you cast it. But I think it's fine. We'll get over it.
I've seen a lot of people really upset about it, and then I think that's why I said you're probably cranky about it, because pretty much everyone else I've seen has been cranky about it. So I run a lot of 16-person operations in story mode. In the current game, there's a 30-second timer on revive, so every 30 seconds you can bring somebody up, and it's great because I could just say random DPS. I can be like, yo, operative, go revive that person with your revive. Yo, random DPS telekinetic sage, go revive that person. That works really well because we can revive literally every 30 seconds that way. That's going to go away. But I don't really feel like it was ever really intended to be used that way, nor was stealth res ever an intended mechanic of the game. For sure, it's a incredibly clever and really good use of stealth. But I don't think the operations were ever designed with that extra random possible revive as part of the mechanical design.
I think the thing that some people were also upset about is there's a couple classes. Shadow is one where you actually stealth out as part of your rotation for DPS. And people were concerned that if stealth out was changing, that they wouldn't get whatever buff they need for their DPS. I don't really do shadow DPS, so
Yeah, I don't either. I couldn't tell you.
yeah, but that is a thing. No, they've said that it will reset everything that you need, and it will give you whatever buff you need.
Oh, great.
You just won't leave
Well,
combat.
hopefully it'll
So
function that way, so that's great. That's fine with me. I never really understood why there's DPS classes that have that in combat revive. I mostly played tanks for a really long time, and then I played an assassin tank, and then I finally went and played a telekinetic sage, and I was playing in a flashpoint with some friends, and they were like, "Oh, use your revive," and I was like, "I have a what now? I'm a DPS. I don't have one." No. You got one. You just gotta find it. And I was really surprised that they even had one at all. I've heard quite a few people saying, "What about veteran flashpoints? We need to be able to revive with all our DPS and stuff like that." And I'm like, normally, I didn't even know you're supposed to be able to do that. My teams are so disorganized. I guess we don't even know we have revive.
yeah, the ones where you can respec as a healer, I guess they just left a revive for the DPS specs as well. I don't remember.
And they had their little baby heals.
Yes, they have their off heals. I forget if it's the revive is tied And the baby heels must be tied to the base class, must be tied to the consular and the commando, etc. So yeah, it will be a change for sure. Definitely heard people more cranky than me, but I don't know. It's going away, so we gotta get over it. So now that I can go down and fight any world boss I damn well please while not stealthing out to res anybody, Scya, what am I going to wear upon my person in this new patch to do or not do whatever it is I'm supposed to be doing?
You're going to wear some legendary gear, which is not quite as cool as it sounds. It sounds like something really epic, like I've got a legendary lightsaber of the ancients, but no. Legendary items are going to be a new type of item. They're going to be attached to implants. So you got your 2 implants, and each one will be separate. And they're basically replacing set bonuses. So right now in the game, you'll have a 6-piece set bonus that you can gain, and that's attached to 6 actual different pieces. And the idea now is that you'll just have an implant. And you can actually have 2 different implants with 2 different set bonuses. They've just started showing these off on the test server. So they're kind of funky. We can't get a full idea of what's going on there. And it looks like they're going to be adding even more set bonuses from some of the older expansions. So, Mal, do you have any thoughts about the fact that the current set bonus mechanic is going away entirely and being replaced by legendary implants?
I like it. It's a lot simpler. It can take such a long time to collect 6 pieces of your set bonus. It's just very tedious.
I have no idea how hard or difficult or fast or slow getting these new implants is going to be. It sounds like you can even get them at a low level. We don't have a ton of data yet, but it is very difficult to explain to a new player how to get your set bonus and that you have to get 6 pieces and where you get each one, and then you get 6 and not 7 and stuff like that. So I'm hoping the implants will at least be easier to explain. I have no idea if they're going to be easier or better when you actually get into game. I think it's going to be really interesting that we can have 2, though. We'll essentially be able to have 2 set bonus parts distinctly. They won't stack on each other.
Yeah, but that's kind of how it is now. Like you have a 2 set, a 4 set, and a 6 set, and the 2 set is like some garbage, like plus to mastery or something.
That's gone, I think. That's gone.
Yeah, but I won't miss that. And then the 4 set is something. And then the 6 set is something. It sounds like these implants, one of them will be the 4 set, and the second implant will be like the 6 set bonus.
Right, but you can have 2 different actual set bonuses now, like 2 separate, distinct ones.
Yes, that is true. Yeah, you can mix and match. So I can bring some Empowered Restorer with some Endless Offensive.
Yeah, there you go, exactly.
You can bring some Tech Medic with some, what is it called? The other one, Concentrated Fire. That's it.
I can bring some not emergency power because I never managed to get it before the end of the expansion.
Well, maybe they'll put it on a legendary item. Actually, I did hear that I believe they are putting that on a legendary item. I believe they are putting...
Emergency power implant? I'm gonna finally get it. Watch, it's gonna be like master mode R4 anomaly, the new operation. I'm gonna cry.
Yeah. I also like the idea that you can get these set bonuses at a lower level because I think it really does a disservice to new people to give them garbage to wear until they're max level and then go, okay, pick out a set bonus and literally learn how to play the game starting right now, even though you've been playing for weeks.
I don't know how well that's going to work. I don't understand if there's going to be different, like fun, low-level set bonuses that you get, and then you can get high-level ones later, or if you can get the, like what we know as current set bonuses early on. Like, can I get my Gathering Storm at level 20? Will it even do me any good? Will I have the right abilities to make that actually do anything interesting? I really feel like I want a lot more info about these.
I'm with you, but as a whole, I don't think it's a bad idea.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I'm curious what the player base thinks because I haven't heard a lot of feedback on this one compared to the other upcoming changes we've heard about.
Yeah, and I'm curious what old set bonuses they might be bringing back because there were a couple old ones that were very good.
Right. I don't even remember what they were. I just always went and got whatever was most suggested set bonus and then promptly ignored it.
Yeah, but I love that it's just going to be 2 pieces that you kind of level as you go. I think it will make min-maxing much easier and less restrictive. It's hard when you've already been raiding Nightmare to start fresh and you don't have any of this gear, and then to have to sit there and wait to collect 6 fucking pieces to be any good at the stuff you were just playing yesterday. I'm for it. It's less tedious.
There is something we do know quite a bit about because it's simple and beautiful. What was the final change that we heard about but isn't on the PTS yet?
We have heard. After waiting 10 years, we will wait no longer. We of the Star Wars The Old Republic player base will have customizable weapons in the outfit designer.
Yes! I am so excited about this. There's not much more to share. They haven't previewed it, so we can't actually say how it works, but they've said, yes, you will be able to take a weapon and place it in the outfit designer, just like you would put your armor in the outfit designer, and then you can wear whatever stats weapon you need. I'm so psyched about this. I'm so sick of using my legacy bound lightsaber that I got, the Onderon one, the gold one from the boxes. I've been trading that between my Sage and my Sork this whole time because it's just not worth it to use any cosmetic weapons right now.
Yep, I can wear my allegedly super giant lightsaber that Mal has on many characters if I so choose. Also, probably going to make the prices of those lightsabers skyrocket a little bit.
Right, if they're not already high enough. What idiots were buying lightsabers before on our credit inflation episode? Now they're going to be buying them times 2.
If you want that executioner's maw, you better get on it now. Or don't, because it is hideous. Man, speaking of inflation, Saya, they did talk about that. I guess they listened to our podcast.
No, I'm sure they already had this in the works. I didn't include this in the notes because it was such a short little footnote. What did they change, Mal?
They're going to take away some of the credit rewards you get from Conquest, and
or lower them.
Lower them, and they are going to not offer solid resource matrices as a Conquest reward.
I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, they're saying too many credits were coming out the wazoo, so we're gonna stop some of them going in the wazoo.
Yeah, not sure that that's gonna help.
I'm hoping there's more down the pipeline. There's somewhere to start, though, for sure.
My friend actually suggested, what if they stealthily put a cap on vendors of how much credits you can sell to a vendor?
Can you imagine someone getting hit by that by accident who wasn't exploiting? I bet you there is some type of trigger. Like if someone makes more than 5 million credits from a vendor, it sends like an email to the devs saying, go check that.
Does it?
Probably not. That's what I would do, though.
Yeah, that's what all banks do. That's how they prevent money laundering, is they set up alerts for people's accounts to look for that.
I'm a genius. I should work at a bank.
Swtor Banking is the Wild West, apparently. Launder all your funds and Swtor Banking. Peace is a lie.
My guild bank is open to you.
Yeah. No, how much does a normal person sell to the vendor, though? Like, if you put a cap on a vendor of like a couple mil, I don't know who that would impact except for exploiters.
Yeah, like a mil within an hour. I can't imagine. I'd love to hear if there's any weird fringe cases, but I sure can't think of any.
No, and if you're legit, you just walk over to another vendor and be fine with it. I don't know. Although I did say to him, maybe it's not a good idea for them to mess with the vendors, since most of the exploits seem to come from vendors.
Don't touch it! No. Don't go anywhere near the vendors or stacks. Don't touch them. Do not. No.
All right, Saya. I've got my legendary implants. I've got my lightsaber in the outfit designer. I got no res. I got shared tagging. What else do I have?
Well, you don't got nothing yet, but you're going to have to gain a whole new set of gear and learn a whole new gearing system coming up in 7.0. So, Mal, you actually haven't heard how the new gearing system works, and most players haven't. The new system has just recently kind of started showing up on the test server in the last few days, and I haven't really seen a lot of people talking about it yet because it's kind of complicated. So the general idea is that there are 4 different gearing paths. Right now, there's really only one gearing path. You get gear from whatever the hell type of content you want to do. You put up your item rating, and then you hopefully get some higher item rated gear, and you don't start optimizing until you get way up there. But now you kind of pick a gearing path. You can do a little of all, but you kind of want to start with one. So you can gear through 1, Conquest, and that's kind of the solo path. 2, Flashpoints, both Veteran and Master. 3, Operations, which each have their own tier depending on story, Veteran and Master, and separately PvP. So the idea is you'll get a piece of gear from one of these 4 paths, and then you'll continue upgrading it with materials and currency earned from that path. So super simple example, you play a Warzone, you'll get a special Warzone currency, PvP commendations, and then you'll be able to buy a piece of PvP gear. The only way to upgrade this piece of gear is to bring it to the PvP gear vendor and give it, some crafting materials from PvP, some PvP commendations, but you can't bring it to the Flashpoint vendor or the Ops vendor to upgrade it. But, very important, it's not PvP gear. I know you're like dying. This is the short version. The Ops gear and the PvP gear and the Flashpoint gear, I think they're all kind of the same. Like, they're not different stats and stuff. Okay, don't cry. It's all right.
I'm not crying. I'm just thinking like, okay, so I got to upgrade my boots, got to go do ops, but my pants come from Flashpoint, so I can't get new pants until I go do a Flashpoint.
Unless you happen to get lucky and get some pants dropped from Operations, correct?
Oh my God, are the operations dropping gear, like useful gear?
Yes, yeah. So, like I said, for PvP, you would play a match and get currency, and then you can go buy your first piece. But for Flashpoints and Operations, you have to wait until your first piece drops from an operation, and then you can keep upgrading it with materials and currency that you earn.
Okay. All right. Time to revive the spreadsheets of who needs what gear in your ops group. Woo!
I don't know if you'll be able to share like that, but yeah, it's a fairly complicated system. You're going to want to keep track of whether you have a PvP belt or a Flashpoint pants for sure.
That's a little bit confusing. I understand why they did it, because then if you're doing...
Oh, can you tell me?
Because it's, oh God, it's the age-old, I don't PvE, I PvP. I don't PvP, I only do PvE. Well, I can't get a group, I only do Flashpoints, and I can't get gear out of Operations because I don't have a group, blah, blah, blah. So I understand why they did it, because then there are some people, they only PvP. That's all they do. So it makes sense that they will get gear drops from PvP that they can upgrade by doing PvP. It gets a little tricky, though, for PvE.
But you could do that now. You could just do whatever and you get an upgrade eventually.
I guess, but I'm not sure now with the current gearing system that that's the most efficient way to do it.
Oh, sure. I don't know what will be more efficient. I was looking at the system and I was like, dang, I'm pretty sure the most efficient way to gear up is just do Conquest. But I don't know if that's right or not. We'll have to see until it gets to live. Not everything's finished yet.
Then you're kind of locked into it. What if you get too many drops from Conquest? Now you're stuck doing a fuck ton of Conquest for gear, but you need to raid. Then there's overlapping gear. It makes sense.
It's going to be weird.
It makes sense to me for PvP. I wish they had just done PvP drops gear, and then everything else can kind of be upgraded in the same fashion.
You want to go back to expertise?
I didn't mind it.
I didn't hate it either.
At least I knew when I was wearing my PvP gear, because even now you have to gear very differently for PvP.
Yeah, you don't want any accuracy, ideally.
You don't need accuracy. So essentially, they replaced expertise with not needing accuracy. So really, you're making 2 sets of gear anyway. I'm not sure why they got rid of it. Really, though, I play PvP. I don't play PvP, but I raid. But I also do Flashpoints with friends. And I also do Conquest. But I really don't PvP. Or if I do, it's very casually. But there are many, many people. That is why they play the game. They do regs. They do ranked. It makes sense to separate it.
I guess so, yeah. For me, I do a little bit of everything. I'm like you.
So yeah, I'm trying to figure out how I will explain to some people why they cannot upgrade the pants they got in a Flashpoint with raid mats.
I recently finally wrote down all my my findings from the test server and made a video, and the video about it was like 20 minutes long. I'm like, my video about how to gear up right now is like 6 minutes long. My video about how to gear up in 7.0 is going to be like 40 minutes long, and that's me being brief. I'm terrified of explaining this system to new players.
Well, I'm glad that's your job and not mine. We'll see. We'll have to see. And it's personal loot, but if I get pants and I already have pants, can I trade them to somebody else? Will they still be on a timer?
I don't know. I feel like probably yes, but I wasn't able to test that kind of stuff yet on the test server. I wasn't able to pass to Boros Courtyard because the game scaling is a bit broken right now. I got down to 80% to Boros Courtyard with our level 80 characters. That's what I was telling you earlier. I got revived twice in a row.
Oh my God, Taboros got his groove back.
Boom, boom, baby.
Taboros got his groove back on the PTS. The car is on fire in the background. Oh man. What is there anything else about gearing? You're not making me cranky. You're making me question everything. A little bit sad, a little bit apprehensive. Maybe I'll never do Conquest again because then I'll be locked into the path of doing Conquest to level up my gear.
Right.
I did see that the gear tiers were called Tianese, Kalumi, and Ricotta.
Yeah. And apparently the other ones are called Decurion and Thursian. I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, they pulled back to the old names from the old expansion armor. Those 3 beautiful names. They are not, just so we're on the same page, they are not like Ricotta gear that's like item rating 98. Don't worry. It's fine.
They're not bringing back that old shit.
Yeah, exactly. I'm hoping they'll look different too. I don't know what they're going to look like right now. They're kind of placeholders.
Are they getting rid of I rating?
No, I don't think so. So basically, let's say you get a helmet dropped from a flashpoint, which is what I got when I was testing on the test server. I got a 320 helmet. When I brought it over to the vendor to upgrade, it was to a 322. And then I could upgrade that again to a 324. So I think item rating's still a thing, but you don't necessarily have to always equip the highest item rating item. I don't think that's quite as much of a big deal. But I did see that in one of the developer posts, it says when you open crates, the crate will scan your equipped gear and give you an upgrade for the slot with the lowest item rating, up to the item rating cap for that content. So I think you still want to keep upgrading your gear.
All right. I mean, it can happen quickly, I think, especially if you're raiding a lot. Like when we go on Thursday, we'll probably be able to smoke like a couple hard modes.
Right. I didn't even think about that. I'm not going to be able to do any more progression rating until my team gets geared up, huh?
And yourself.
What a mess.
And yourself, I guess.
Yeah. That's going to take me a while and never even finish gearing up this content. Emergency power.
God, will they let you start now? I'm kidding.
I'm hoping I get like a freebie. Like all vanguards have been automatically granted emergency power for their grief and terror during the last expansion.
I know. Did you post that picture of someone? Was it the Reddit where they said in 7.0?
Oh my God. That made me laugh so hard. A player suggested, they were being mostly facetious. They said, since emergency power and what's the other one called?
Oh, Apex Predator.
Yeah, since those 2 were the only ones that could not be bought on the vendor. In the next expansion, those are going to be the only ones that can be bought on a vendor, and everyone else has to earn their set bonuses the hard way. I was just like standing and applauding in my closet here. I was just like, yes, this is exactly what should happen. Vindication.
I laughed at that when you posted it because it is true. Like, what a pain. Such a...
All right, we have gone over this incredible amount of content for you guys, and we hope you enjoyed the special report today.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out with us and listening to this news, even though you probably heard it last week. But that's okay. You didn't get to hear our opinions about it.
And don't worry, you did hear it here last. Hope you guys have a great day, and if we find out anything more about 7.0 coming up, we'll make sure to share it as well.
Yeah, thanks, guys. We will see you next time.
Bye. You've been listening to the Star Forge podcast with Scya and Mal. We know you have your choice of podcasts, and you chose the right one. For show notes and other information, visit starforgepodcast.com and hit us up on Twitter at StarForgeCast. We'd love to hear from you. Listen in with Google or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or on Swtorista's YouTube channel. New episodes drop every Friday, so mark your calendar and come join the party. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Well, say something. Don't just shake your fucking head at me. I can't reach her mind.
Do you want me? Sorry, this last segment was awkward at the end. I don't know.
I'll just get rid of it.
Okay, I'll give you a segue and hopefully you can figure out where to fit it in, okay?
I will, or I'll just clip it. I'll just play clown music, play circus music.